Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Nick here, back with a new video on HBAR. I know a lot of people love Hedera, and a lot of people have been asking me for a new video on it to really get an updated outlook on it. So I did some research last night. It took me about a few hours to really get the key details down of the ins and the outs of this project, because I really want you guys to know not only the pros about it, but also the cons about it. Like, what's the downfall of it? What's really holding it back, and we'll talk more about that. But for the most part, I really want to talk to you guys about the XRP ledger, because I really want you guys to know the XRP itself and how scalable it is, because these are some really key components here to really look at and compare with HBAR, because I think HBAR could really give a lot of these similar assets a run for its money. Now, again, I'm not saying that Hedera is better than XRP or XRP is better than Hedera. I just think that comparing the benefit side of it in terms of like scalability, low cost, and how fast it is, I think that's a really key component here. But for the most part, I really want you guys to really look at the 1,500 transactions per second, what they could do, because comparing it to what Hedera could do is pretty big. So nonetheless, let's just jump into it. On my last video, I really talked about the use cases and stuff like that and all that, but I really want to talk to you guys about what has happened since then. So I know that there has been a few more partnerships with Hedera from what I've seen on their Twitter, but for the most part, these are the really key, component partnerships that they have. This is their governing council, which they would have essentially 19 of them, and we'll talk more about that overall. But for the most part, it's not just only 19 people that could be governed on here. I mean, that is the key here, but there could also be a ton of projects built on Hedera's network. Basically, Hedera isn't like your typical blockchain crypto. Essentially, it's better, and the way that it is better is it's basically, I guess the easiest way to explain it is like, imagine Hedera being a graph where the speed of transactions will increase as more transactions are added to the network. And from what I've seen from Hedera themselves and their partnerships, I don't think that's going to be an issue in terms of getting that amount of transactions to really speed up how fast they could be settled. And I mean, it's basically, I guess the best way I could say it is, it's basically like XRP in a way, but it's not exactly XRP in terms of the technology, because basically what the technology that they use for this is called DAG. It's basically directed acyclic graph. Pretty much this technology is designed to help HBAR achieve more than 100,000 transactions per second, making it a true competitor for like Visa, MasterCard, etc. And they basically perform 6.5 million transactions per day with an average transaction time of 5 seconds, which is easily, that's easily competitive with XRP itself. And I believe that this actually surpasses Ethereum's 1.2 million and Bitcoin's 300,000 transactions combined. So that's, I mean, it's something to really look at and really take into aspect before you actually invest in this, because this, some of these statistics on Hedera are absolutely incredible. I mean, we already went over the network, we went over the tools, their use cases. We pretty much looked all into that. If you guys have not watched my last video on HBAR, I definitely will tell you to do that, because I wouldn't recommend it if there wasn't a ton of information in that video already that we won't be going over in this video. This video is more of like a deeper dive into HBAR and why I believe that this is going to be one of the most major long-term holds for me. My price prediction, I suppose, for 2021 into like the beginning of 2022 would be about $3 to $6. And I think in a long-term aspect, I think that this could be one of those projects that really surprise people by reaching double-digit figures and even going further into that. So it's going to be a household name, I believe, just because of what they're doing. I mean, the partnerships that they have is absolutely incredible. They already have a ton of assets being built on HBAR, and I mean, it's crazy. But let's talk more about this governing council, because these names here are really key to helping Hedera work. So essentially, these are 19 multinational corporations that are around the world, obviously, that govern the platform and the software that will run on millions of nodes globally as well. So to reach consensus, instead of mining, nodes on the hash graph communicate with each other, comparing pretty much notes on the transaction history of the network. As these nodes communicate, they select a few famous transactions, then they become famous because they are communicated to the nodes early in the process, and then the chosen nodes then compare the information in the majority of nodes. So it's basically, the transaction nodes, communicating with each other to really settle them in that, 5-second window, because that's how long it takes to settle a payment or transaction, I should say, on Hedera, which is a direct, competition statistic to XRP. So I'm not going to say if you hold XRP, you will also want to hold HBAR, but I would say they're both key, holds for me at least. I hold a ton of HBAR and I hold a lot of XRP, and I think these are two projects I strongly believe in just because of the technology aspect. But nonetheless, we'll, talk more a little bit about this. So essentially the goal of this is to reach a point referenced as strongly seeing where two nodes could predict the decision or outcome of a vote by a third node because they come to the same conclusion at multiple stages of the process. So for the future of Hedera, they plan to make a mainnet of nodes permissionless, allowing more people to participate in the transaction process and protect the network against attacks. Now, I will say this, in my last video, I talked about Hedera's, security. They are one of the most, if not they are the most secure, basically decentralized public networks out there. And, what they are doing is absolutely beyond what any other project is doing. And I even say that by including XRP in the XRP ledger. Now, I'm not saying that XRP and XRP ledger will be massive, because they will, trust me, but HBAR is also one of those long-term holds if you love money, because trust me, we're trading at currently 28 cents, I believe, just to make sure that I have that right. Let me get the price chart up. I should have actually had this up originally, but I apologize. So let me see. Okay. So yeah, we're trading at about 28.6 right now, which is a great buy-in my opinion. Anything under 30 cents is a really good buy-in, but anything under $1 is also pretty cheap in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying throw your entire life savings to this, because it's not financial advice, of course, but I'm just saying I think that this is strongly a really good buy here, especially considering, we topped out at about 45 cents the last run up, and I think that this is going to be, something really, really key. So, nonetheless, let's jump back into the whole network and the services that HBAR actually offers. So the network is basically comprised of 4 main components. They work together to allow transfers of value, the creation and execution of smart contracts, file transfers, and a lot more. So essentially this is going back to pretty much their entire case study, I suppose. I think if we go here to their overview, I think that they actually talk about this as well. I think it might be an ecosystem. Yeah, so I think that no, I don't think that this is it. But essentially, the best way that I could pretty much describe this is HBAR itself is your typical cryptocurrency. So it's basically like Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever. It's used for enabling low-fee, highly customizable transactions on the network. And HBAR can't really be compared to most, like, Bitcoin and stuff, just because of how, feeless it is. Because to really move one, transaction, I think the fees are, less than a penny overall. But for the most part, this is something that's very scalable. If we look here, this is those pretty much those, I suppose, the information that I was talking about in terms of comparing it to the XRP and the XRP ledger, where it does 10,000 plus transactions per second, which is the highest amount of transactions per second that I've ever seen from a project, and that's even including XRP at 1,500 transactions per second, which is massive. I mean, that's a massive amount that could be moved. Now, their average fee is about 0.0001, I guess, cent. It's not even a cent, but it's like a fraction of a cent. And it does complete them in 3 to 5 seconds, which it basically has the 3 to 5 second settlement time, and it's about, actually, it's cheaper than XRP. So I think HBAR has really given XRP a run for its money overall, but I don't think that HBAR has the same use case as XRP, where XRP is essentially the bridge for CBDCs. But nonetheless, let's look more into the overall services. So HBAR also offers smart contracts, which are used for automatically executing logic and building decentralized applications targeting numerous possible use cases. And then we also have file services for redundant distributed file storage with granular controls like append and deletion. And then it also has a consensus service for attaining fast, fair, and secure consensus in any application that requires trust. Like I said, basically Hedera is different to your typical blockchain because the biggest difference is that it doesn't require compute-heavy proof of work. And what Hedera is doing long-term, from my point of view, is really being a financial giant in this space. Now, the key advantages with Hedera would be it claims to achieve the highest possible level of security, like I mentioned, even when malicious actors are present on the network through a system called ABFT, or asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance, that is employed by nodes. The nodes are the real key aspect here because the nodes are doing a lot of work, and we could even see that here. The Hedera proof-of-stake public network powered by Hashgraph consensus achieves the highest grade of security possible ABFT with blazing fast transaction speeds and incredibly low bandwidth consumption. By combining high throughput, low fees, and finality in seconds, Hedera leads the way for the future of public ledgers. Like I said, this is a direct competitor, in my opinion, to XRP, but XRP is really not trying to compete with Hedera. Now, I will say this. Hedera is much faster than Bitcoin and Ethereum because transactions can be processed in parallel, not serially, and has very fast latency. If it takes pretty much only a few seconds for a transaction to be sent, and we already see that here. It takes 3 to 5 seconds for finality to actually be achieved. Basically, it will be confirmed with 100% certainty by the network in those 3 to 5 seconds. And Hedera's platform supports the same object-oriented program language that Ethereum uses, known as Solidity, which is used for smart contracts. So by enabling smart contracts, the platform can be also used to, build decentralized applications, which is dApps. We already know about those, which can also be used for a variety of use cases, including gaming, decentralized finance, products, digital identity, and much more. Now, this could be competitors for a lot of projects out there, like Decentraland and stuff like that, because the use cases are endless. Once these dApps are built on Hedera, which we already have a few projects built on Hedera that I am going to go over here soon. But for the most part, once these are built, the possibilities for Hedera to grow and to really gain much more value is endless. It's really one of those projects that have a ton of potential, and I think it's just getting started. But Hedera also benefits from extremely low fees combined with rapid transactions, with transactions reaching absolute finality in seconds and transaction fees under a penny. The biggest downfall, though, of HBAR, and we can actually see it here at the bottom of this page right here, is that Hedera would have to be, pretty much the fact that it's not open sourced, and the technology is instead patented, preventing developers from forking the protocol to create their own public versions. For example, like Bitcoin got forked into Bitcoin Cash. Now, what's cool about this is that Hedera's technology is patented, which basically means nobody could steal it. It's actually their own, this is like some of the most, I think that is one of, if not it is, the only technology of its kind besides XRP and stuff. But also the company behind Hedera also mentioned that the tech is patented to prevent the loss of network effects, which sees the value of the climb with growing user base. And then also this eliminates the risk firms see, which basically means like when they are trying to build on like a forkable chain, they see a ton of risk. So you will see firms trying to build on Hedera, in my opinion, very soon as well. Now back to what I was saying about this, bottom here. Essentially, like cryptocurrency transactions are throttled at 10,000 transactions per second and will increase in the future. But for now, that is one of its biggest downfalls as well. And we'll go more into depth in that in a little bit. But I really want to talk about the last disadvantage, in my opinion, and that would be the 19 governing councils. Basically, we can't verify if what Hedera offers could truly be a decentralized solution. But I mean, in my opinion, I don't think this will be an issue considering the partnerships that it does have. But it is a realistic concern overall for Hedera if you are, an investor in it or even building something on Hedera. But since the official mainnet launch in 2019, Hedera has been able to confirm the transaction scalability and finality time. Now the network is also throttled to 10 transactions per second that invoke a smart contract. And this is what I was talking about down here. Now, of course, cryptocurrency transactions are throttled at 10K transactions per second, but for smart contracts, it's throttled at 10 transactions per second, which would invoke a smart contract. Now, this is very similar to what we're seeing with Ethereum and many other smart contract blockchains, but Hedera themselves stated that the throttling will gradually loosen up. But until then, it's basically unclear. It could be used to address the volume DApps on various other networks handle, which most of the times those DApps do cripple networks like Ethereum and stuff. But I do want to talk a little bit more about what's being built on Hedera. So first and foremost, I want to talk about Track Invest, which is basically a virtual trading platform. Now this is one that is partnered on Hedera. It's built on Hedera. And this is actually a pretty cool project overall, but I didn't really do too much information research on Track Invest. But from my point of view, I kind of skimmed their website and stuff, and it does look like a solid, I guess, virtual trading platform. Now, it does have a subscription sort of base thing, where you can get unlimited trading in one exchange, and then they also have like a monthly cost, 3 months, 6 months. But for the most part, they have $500 million in virtual stocks purchased, 85,000 people are now trading on it, $200,000 in prizes won, and 50,000 jobs and internships awarded. I mean, I think that this is a pretty cool, idea overall. I mean, it's just a trading platform, but it's all virtual. And I mean, they have, a few, I guess they were featured on these, which is actually pretty cool, especially like TechCrunch. You definitely heard of those. I should say, Sky News and stuff like that. Now, I didn't do, like I said, too much information on it, but you could kind of see how it works. Like you have the explorers, learners, pro investor. If you guys want to do some more research on this, you definitely can. But for the most part, that is one of the projects built on Hedera. And then we also have Agrio, which is basically a farming loan platform that's building a decentralized data-driven prediction model. Now this I didn't do really like any information like in I guess pretty much any research on. Now again, like I said, you guys could do research more into this, but for the most part, it is a pretty cool project overall from what I did learn a little bit from just skimming their website. And it is one of those solid projects that could help, the farming economics. And then also we have Carbon Money, which is basically just a stable coin that's on Hedera. Again, nothing too crazy here. If you guys do want to do, more research on these, you definitely can. But I just really want to talk about a few that are on here. And then we have AdStacks, a fast and fair ad marketplace. Again, they have some of the information here. 5 million daily average transactions recorded on Hedera Hashgraph. 1,372 peak transactions per second on Hedera Hashgraph. Like I said, scalability is absolutely massive. And you guys, again, like I said, could do more research on this if you want. Me personally, I'm not going to waste the video talking about other projects that are built on Hashgraph. I'm just saying this is a little bit of what we could expect to be built on Hedera. But nonetheless, so Hedera launched in February their own token service where anyone can actually create tokens on the platform. Transferring tokens will cost a fraction of a penny. Now, for the future of Hedera, they plan to reduce the amount of downtime the network needs for maintenance. I apologize for that. Now, that's actually interesting because Hedera actually does go down for maintenance, unlike other blockchain technology and stuff, because it's just not. Pretty much Hedera's technology is not what most blockchains is. Now, they also plan on implementing scheduled transactions. They also plan on adding multiple party transactions and also sharding, which will increase the number of transactions the network can process, which we see that here. Sharding to enable unlimited transactions per second. For Hedera, the range is shown for transactions not requiring a transaction record, but can receive a transaction receipt. And then, overall, I would say, in terms of a project to really be invested in long term, something that's really going to deliver, pretty decent gains, I would say, Hedera is one of those projects. Now, again, I really want to do a deeper dive in here because this was something that was released recently by Hedera. Now, this actually goes for XRP and also the XRP ledger because this is something that's, basically combining both of them. So, I'm going to do a quick read over of this. I apologize if this video is a little bit longer. I really wanted to give you guys a lot of information on this project. But for the most part, 2021 State of Decentralization Report. The State of Decentralization Report measures and surfaces insights on the adoption of public and private distributed ledger technologies, DLTs, across various roles, industries, geographies, use cases, and company sizes. Now, decentralized ledgers are basically the XRP ledger. It's a perfect example of it, realistically. Now, the report for 2021 will be used as a baseline for subsequent yearly reports and used to assess changes and trends in adoption over time. And then we also have some demographics that Hedera actually did some research on. Now, this is survey responses from 925 respondents between December 2020 and January 2021. Survey respondents are individuals already building or seeking to build decentralized applications on public, private, or hybrid DLT networks. Now you could see, project size, industry disruption, technology adoption. I'm not going to read too much into this, but I think that this is actually a very cool, demographic that we could really look into why public ledgers, private ledgers, or even hybrid ledgers are going to be massive, especially in this space, especially even in the future for transactions digitally. Now, again, here's kind of the idea of who was using, public, private, and hybrid ledgers, and pretty much their overall, experience. Now, here's the use cases. Now, this is what I really wanted to talk about. So, payments lead all other use cases categories, with 39% of respondents claiming their project incorporated some form of payment functionality. This was followed by tokenization at 33%. Payments. Real-time digital payments are exploding globally by 2023, and this is a really big key component that I really want to capitalize on. Digital transaction values are expected to reach $6.7 trillion. $6.7 trillion by 2023. That is 2 years from now. And the reason why I really want to talk about this is I really want to say that a lot of people are underestimating crypto for what it is. And I apologize, I was taking a drink of water. But nonetheless, a lot of people think that crypto can't reach, crazy market caps just because it's not what Apple is or Tesla or so. I will say this. Cryptocurrency is better than Apple. It's better than Tesla. Tesla makes zero money on their cars from statistical research. I do not want anybody to compare crypto to real life stocks. They're completely two different things. When you're investing in a stock, you're investing in a company's worth overall. When you're investing in crypto, you are investing in a solid project, something that could be utilized globally. It could be used for payment processing systems. I think at this point, if we reach $6.7 trillion by 2023, I think that the 2024 bull run will be some of the most life-changing crypto bull runs that we've ever seen in our life. And I think even this bull run is going to be something absolutely insane. You know, we've seen Dogecoin hit $50 billion in market cap. A lot of people think that XRP or even Hedera can't reach, $100 billion in market cap. For me personally, I think $1 trillion market cap for some of these projects is absolutely undervalued. If Bitcoin could reach $1 trillion market cap, why can't Hedera? Why can't XRP? And I understand that people are going to compare market cap to circulating supply. We need to stop doing that because, when liquidity kicks in, or when $6.7 trillion is moving across the XRP ledger or even Hedera, it's so impossible to really get a key idea on where the market cap's going to be. But all I know is the fact that DLTs enable the next generation of digital payments and store of value, ushering in the creation and utilization of cryptocurrency, micropayments, stablecoins, and CBDCs. The big key takeaway here is that projects like XRP, where they are bridging CBDCs across, the globe, and projects like Hedera that could settle 10,000 transactions per second, and comparing it to, even if we come down here, or let me go back here, and if we actually compare the green currency calculator. Now, we already know that we're ushering into this Green New Deal that Biden wants to release. We are tired of destroying our environment for money, for printing paper money to actually utilize these, credit cards and stuff. Now, I will say this. XRP uses a ton of kilowatts an hour, compared to like Visa and MasterCard. But the thing is that XRP and even Hedera are a lot more scalable than Visa and MasterCard combined. The power usage is really nothing. If you compare this to cash, just look at the kilowatts an hour on cash itself. This is why we need something new. We need something that's not hard-earned paper cash, because we need to usher into a digital age. We are so far behind in terms of financial stability, in terms of, using a digital asset. We are in 2021. Cash has been in circulation for hundreds of years now. We need something new. And even if we compare XRP to Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's not even comparable. But the reason why I say this is because Hedera itself is far more scalable than XRP. But the thing is that they both have separate use cases in terms of the financial system. And I think that these are going to be two incredible holds long term down the road. And that doesn't mean, hey, don't sell this bull run, sell next bull run. I'm just saying you're going to want to hold this for at least 5 years. That doesn't mean don't sell at the top of this bull run and rebuy in, because that would be the smart way to do it. But again, we don't know where the top's going to be. Nobody can predict the top. No matter how much they're asking you to pay for their exit strategy, they are not going to predict the exact top. Get out when you're comfortable and rebuy in on the bear market low. But we still do not know what's going to happen overall in this bull run. It could be something massive that we've never seen before, because most of what we're seeing now we haven't seen before. But I'm just saying, between HBAR and XRP, what we're seeing in, rushing into this digital age of finances, it's going to be something massive. And even here, if we read more about tokenization, asset tokenization is the process by which an issuer creates digital tokens on a distributed ledger or blockchain which represent either digital or physical assets. Tokenized assets can either be fungible or non-fungible. We also have data integrity. Data integrity is succinctly explained as proving digital or real-world actions for data compliance and auditing purposes. Oftentimes, regulators force organizations to take extra precaution when it comes to data compliance, such as through GDPR and CCPA laws. There is no objective way to prove to the customer that data has been handled and enforced appropriately. The solution is to amplify trust around data compliance by providing a publicly auditable log of actions taken, and to provide tools to consumers to audit their own data. Like I said, guys, overall, the XRP ledger, what Hedera is doing, they're both incredible holds. Now, this is an HBAR video. I don't want to talk too much about XRP because we already know I absolutely love XRP. But why do I think HBAR is going to be massive? It's just the scalability, the cheap, low-cost fees, the green aspect of it because it's good for the environment. Guys, I don't think that your favorite blockchains are going to die out. Like, I don't think Bitcoin's going to disappear off the face of the earth and never be used again just because it's not green. But I will say this, a lot of assets are going to have a hard time once the XRP SEC case is done and regulatory clarity comes into this space. You're going to see a lot of coins get removed that are not compliant with it. And a big key aspect here to take away from this is that Hedera is SEC compliant, and I believe that XRP is as well. I don't think that this case has much more life left in it. I mean, yeah, sure, they might, stretch it out into like the beginning of the summer, but at the end of the day, XRP and what Ripple's doing is crazy. What Hedera Hashgraph is doing with HBAR is massive as well. These are two financial coins that you do not want to miss out on. XRP is a little more expensive now. It's $1.30. HBAR is 28.6. Guys, this is one of those coins that are cheap. It's affordable still. This is a cheap price point to enter in. I know that a lot of us were entering back here at, sub 10 cents. And I don't want you guys to feel like, hey, I missed out on the boat because I didn't get in here. Listen, this has a lot of life left in it. I think $3 to $6 is a really good price point, where we end at the end of the year. Do your research. Like I said, I did mine. I love HBAR. I love XRP overall. Now, in my opinion, these are two of my major holds. These are two of my holds that I know will make me a ton of cash this bull run. And I really just want you guys to really learn more about HBAR because it has a ton of potential in it. And nonetheless, guys, that's pretty much the video. I'm not going to ramble on too much more. I appreciate you all watching this video. If you guys do want to check out my Twitter and also the Discord, it's in the description below, as always. This has been Nick. I hope that you guys have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in the world. Much love, and I appreciate everything. Peace out, guys.